welcome to the Center Code training video talking about organizing your users. And in this video we're going to pay special attention to teams, roles, and team types. Now keep in mind also that we covered access including teams, roles, and team types in the Connect Manager Fundamentals video. We covered some of the concepts regarding these items there, but we're going to dig into it a little bit deeper within the project for project managers. So in this video you'll learn how to control access to your project and its resources using teams. We're also going to talk about some other common uses for teams, and we're going to talk about how to create new teams to organize your users. So regarding the Nighthawk project story, this is part of the pre-recruitment process. And this is going to be setting up your teams and configuring your resources for your applicants team, getting ready to recruit and put your potential testers on the applicants team for holding, and then once we get ready to launch, you'll be enabling resources in the same way for your testers. So first off, we're going to talk about controlling access. The primary source of reviewing and editing your teams is of course the Teams tool within the project tools. From here you'll be able to see a list table of all the teams available to you, and we'll go over actually editing and removing one here shortly. Now roles, being those which grant access to resources or even just the project in general, are each set up either for static items like accessing the project for your applicants and testers to accessing reporting for internal members or the project managers. Dynamic roles, on the other hand, correspond to different resource items like feedback or content. If you want to provide a software release, then you need to turn on the dynamic roles corresponding to the appropriate teams. Now, team types help rein in this process and keep control over roles as a whole. So just like we discussed in the Connect Manager Fundamentals video, team types allow for minimum and maximum roles granted to your particular teams based on their overarching type. So new applicants versus rejected applicants. They're still applicants and they're part of the applicant team type. Beta testers, be it internal and external testers. Internal and external testers, while different teams, correspond to the same team type. Now regarding some of the common uses for teams, we can utilize teams to provide basic grouping between two similar sets. So for example, your quality assurance and general support team. They have similar effect in your beta program, basically triaging bugs and providing information to your testers via their feedback, but the actual functionality behind these two teams is slightly different. You can also use teams for flagging users for special consideration, which we'll dig into a bit deeper into the Nighthawk project, because that's actually what we do within that project. And we can also provide distinctly controlled experiences, perhaps by providing a particular notice chain, like we talked about in the Connect Manager Fundamentals video, of controlling the project experience that way. You can have one particular team that goes through a very distinctly controlled experience as compared to another. So then, looking at the project tools, go ahead and access your Teams tool, and you'll see the list of all the different teams within our project. Now of course you can see the team type there along the middle. We have one project manager team, we have two internal members teams, we have a bunch of participants teams, and then 3 applicants teams. Now remember when I said that we utilize teams to flag users, and that's exactly what we did for these participants. We have one overarching testers team containing all of the testers in my project, and then the remaining participant teams, be it photo enthusiast, aspiring artist, tech enthusiast, and snapshot keeper, are ways to sort my testers and possibly provide them with a particular experience based on their demographics. Now flagging these users in their particular teams allows me to perhaps set up a different forum for the photo enthusiasts that tech enthusiasts or snapshot keepers can't see. Utilizing teams in this manner allows you to customize their experience even further. From here you can click on the Modify to make any changes to these particular teams. You can change their team type or their name, add users to those particular teams, however you want to do it. Additionally, you can use the Create a New Team link along the bottom here, and that's actually what we'll do to create any new teams. Give your team a name. You then have to set a team type, thereby restricting or enforcing the minimum and maximum amount of roles. You can set the team type defaults, which will then take the defaults according to your team types and set their roles accordingly. The Use in Project Dashboards checkbox that you see in this screen is available only to enterprise customers, and if you need to take care of that, you should ask your community manager whether or not they're utilizing cross-project labels, and if so, find out which teams they need those labels to assign to. Finally, you can copy access from an existing team, which would allow you to take all of their roles to all of their resources and copy them exactly. You can then modify it thereafter, but usually you're going to set up with the team type defaults or possibly no access at all, and then you'll add them individually as you go. Further down, you can double-click a name to add it to this particular team, and simply double-click to remove it, and then submit to finalize any changes. In order to change the ordering of these individual items, simply use the order icons on the right-hand side, click the up or down to change them accordingly. You can also utilize the X on the right-hand side, the remove icon, to remove the team entirely. So for example, if I don't need that tech enthusiast team, turns out only one user met the criteria to be on that team, so I'm going to go ahead and nix that team altogether because their forum participation in the tech enthusiast specific forum isn't necessary. So in this case, I'll remove that team, but remember that I'm only able to do this because I have a testers team that holds all of my testers, and this tech enthusiast team is simply a flag used to allow further access to the particular individuals that satisfy those criteria. So clicking X to remove, I can remove this team, or I can remove the team and all of its members. More often than not, you'll utilize the remove this team item and use remove this team and all members or users extremely sparingly. Clicking on the remove this team and all members actually removes those testers from your test entirely. So in that case, we're going to go ahead and remove this team. And you can see that team is no longer on the list. Now back into Project Tools, we'll talk about roles. Clicking on the Roles tool, you can see the Team Type drop-down menu here that you can choose the different team types from. Now if we want to adjust the particular roles for a participant's team, we'll choose them from the drop-down list and see a list of all the different participant teams that I have available within my project. So in this case, you have a key across the top that corresponds to your particular tester teams on the right-hand side, and you can adjust these roles by clicking them on or off. So clicking on or off knowledge base for particular users allows you to revoke access or grant access to these static roles. Simply hit submit when you're done. To further explain the functionality of roles and get more into the dynamic roles, we need to take a look at a piece of content that we've created within this project. Now we haven't covered content in the past, but we're actually just going to talk about the roles associated with content itself. So here you have a list of all the content within this project, and some of them have access and some of them do not. But as you can see here, the participation agreement along the middle, you can mouse over the view column to see which teams have access to this particular resource. In this case, the aspiring artist, photo enthusiast, and snapshot keeper team all have access, but the testers team does not. In this case, the testers team thereby encompasses all of these users. So to modify this quickly and easily, I can simply click on that icon to revoke all access, and you can see the updated icon there, or click it again to enable all access. In order to change the roles more granularly, I will actually access this by modifying the resource. Then scroll down to the bottom, we're at the team access, and you can see the list of all the teams within the site. From here, I can modify these resources and add roles or take away roles, modifying access to them by simply clicking on or off the checkboxes corresponding to those teams. So as you can see, the entirety of the participants' team type have access to this resource. If I wanted to add it for a particular applicant group, for instance, I can simply check on that role. Whenever you finish making your changes, be sure to submit. So in this video, we covered controlling access to your project through teams, roles, and team types. We talked about the implications of teams, roles, and team types, and particular uses for each. And we also talked about how to create and modify your individual teams. So of course, we have more videos coming up regarding the other functions within Connect and managing your project, so stay tuned.